Hello everyone and welcome to Flow of the Round, week number 5. Hey everybody, my name is Rich Shumaker and welcome to Flow of the Round. How you guys all doing? This week is entitled Music. So my setup is a little bit different than normal for the simple fact that I will be looking over that way, to make sure that I'm playing the music I want to. I will also be putting headphones on this week, on and off, because I want to make sure that I can hear the audio that's coming through. What we're going to be doing this week is going over things that will help you as a contact juggler, a sphere player, a dynamic object manipulator, or as I like to call it, flow of the round. What it will help you with is performances. Music is used, I use music all the time. When you perform, normally you're going to be performing with music. And if you watch my first episode, way back when, or actually it might be week number 2, I discussed the fact that every time when I started, I would always have music on in the background, and that's why I consider myself more of a flow artist than anything else. I would listen to the music and I would move according to the music. Now you're probably wondering, well, why don't you have music every week, Rich? Well, if you love music so much, why don't you have music every week? Well, 2 reasons. One, it's difficult in a live environment to have feedback, music coming back at me, because I'm trying to keep the audio isolated. So I'm talking into a microphone right now, and if I had music going, the microphone would pick up the music. Hence the reason I'll be wearing headphones later. The second reason is actually the bigger of the 2 reasons, and that is music licensing. I'm not a lawyer. I just know that when I've put up videos with other people's music in it, they now technically own the rights to put advertisements on my music, or on my videos. And you want to avoid that if you want to monetize your content. And if you don't want to monetize your content, you want to avoid it so that the people that do watch your content, they're not being bugged by an ad that you don't want them to see. If you were to listen to a song on the radio and you threw that into your video, one of 2 things will happen, specifically on YouTube. If I was listening to Enya, I love Enya, and I used that song in my YouTube video and it was flagged by the content creator, meaning the person who owns the Enya song, because Enya might own it, or the record label might own it, or some publishing company might own it, they could do one of 2 things. They could tell me, take that video down. And I would have 2 choices, take it down or fight. If I fought and I lost, I could lose my whole YouTube channel. The second thing that they could do is just do ads on my video. They would collect the revenue for a video that I created because it's not my music. One of the areas of thought here is that you go and you find free music in the public domain. So I found a couple songs today, and they have a Creative Commons license, and there's different types of Creative Commons license. And again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to get into this. Go on to YouTube, go on to Google, do some searches if you need to know more about the technical stuff dealing with music licensing. What I will tell you though is be very careful what music you use. So I found some public domain music, which is actually royalty-free music with Creative Commons attribution, meaning that if I use the music, I have to give attribution to the person whose music I used. So this week you will see in the little corner down here somewhere, or over here somewhere, you're going to see the name, and that is going to be the name of the person that created the music. Now, the thing that I highly recommend all flow artists do is create your own music. If you have any kind of product, comes with GarageBand, and GarageBand is easy to make music. I have a couple of different tunes that I created, and literally maybe half an hour spent. If you listen to them, you can tell it's half hour spent. I'll be honest. In the future, I'll be creating more and more music that I can use for myself. I love music. I don't like the legal stuff around music. I wish I could take my early videos where I'm listening to Zeppelin and I'm just doing my flow, and show that to you. But I can't. I can show it to you, but you can't hear the audio, which is the whole point to doing something to music. And that is what I was going to say is, whenever you're doing this at your house, find your favorite music and listen to it. And then play that music in the background and basically enjoy what you're doing as a flow artist with the music playing. As you play with music, the better you will get. It's sort of like playing piano. You're not going to be an expert at playing piano the first day. It will take time to get good at playing piano, but the more you do it, the better you get. I'm not sponsored by this company, so I'm trying to keep the glass off the thing. Make sure to drink water. So first things first, before we get into the actual music, you want to stretch. Now, I've done some stretching, but I'm going to do one bend over. My hamstrings were tight. And then you want to stretch your hands a little bit. As you've seen in previous weeks, I highly recommend that you spin to warm your hands up. I've actually spun 3 or 4 times today, which is, I recommend you get up in the morning and you spin around lunchtime and spin at dinner, and that'll keep your hands limber. And then as far as your body goes, I don't do any formal stretching currently. I know all the different formal stretching. The important thing is to find one that you like and do that. I've warmed my hands up a little bit, and the thing that I said last week, and it was funny, I was watching the video back, and it's really evident that I'm high-strung right now. And what I told people, what I said to do was breathe. Oh, if you hear a dog barking in the background, that's Pixel. He's my puppy. So, breathe. It's one of the most important things you can do. As you can probably tell, my stress level just went right down. So, make sure to breathe. Make sure to relax. Make sure to enjoy yourself. One of the things that I've noticed is you can always tell somebody is really enjoying themselves doing something like playing piano, singing, violin, contact juggling, because they're relaxed. And when you breathe, you bring your stress level down and you relax. And you can probably tell in my voice, I've just relaxed a lot just by doing that. We've talked about different types of music. Public domain music, royalty-free music, and public domain and royalty-free are not the same. Public domain typically is music that's out in the wild and anybody can use it. What you will find most of the public domain stuff is sheet music. So Bach doesn't own a copyright anymore. He's been dead past the amount of time that you could own the copyright. If you want to have Bach music in your video, you can use it. Now here's the caveat. If an orchestra has performed Bach's music, you can't use it. They own the rights to the recording that they created. You will have to take the sheet music, put it into some kind of computer program or play it yourself on instruments, record it, and then you can own that recording of Bach's music because Bach's music is in public domain, but the recordings are not. So public domain, royalty-free, and then last but certainly least, the one I recommend is creating your own music. So what we're gonna do is I'm going to talk about transitions real quick, and then we're gonna jump into playing some music, and I'm going to flow with the music and kind of give you some tips, tricks, and ideas of things that you can do that will help you as a contact juggler, as a performer, as a person that does flow of the round, day to day, in and out, all the time. First appearance of probably my favorite practice ball of all times, my practice sphere, practice round object. This is the practice round object that I love. Now, I would tell you go to this company and buy it, but you can't. So I will just tell you the name of it and the size. It is a Ledger plastic out of Italy, 90 millimeters. I originally found this from Gaiam. They sold a Tai Chi with ball set. And I would say, hey, go get the Tai Chi with ball set and you'll get this. But you won't. They switch manufacturers probably to a Chinese company because this is the Ferrari, because it's from Italy, the Ferrari of stage balls. You can use any stage ball. I have Dubé stage balls. I have Babosh stage balls. I have, I'm trying to think of who else is. I think that's about it for me, but there's 3 or 4 other companies, Renegade. And again, I don't get sponsored by any of these companies. I'm just telling you the different types of stage balls. Now, a stage ball, and specifically this one, has a little bit of a squish. And I really like the way it moves. It's my favorite. It just feels really good. Now, as I've said every week, know your surroundings. This is probably one of the smaller spaces you'll ever perform in. And it takes time to get used to. I'm still not used to it. This is the 5th week, and I'm still not used to performing in this space. So we'll see how we go today. Mr. Hat, don't be a pain today. People are probably like, well, why do you have the hat there? I like it. Throw it on at any time. Put the glasses on. I love it. I like being able to do this. It's one of the reasons that the micro studio is so awesome to me, because I can do crazy stuff like that at a moment's notice. Now be good. You made your appearance. Thank you, by the way. My name is Rich Shumaker. I'm finally introducing myself. What we're going to be doing now are something called transitions. I haven't done any transitions yet. In my flow shops that we've been doing every week. A transition is taking it from this hand to this hand. So that was literally a transition. This is a palm to palm transition. It's as simple as that. Now, I'm going to show you a transition that most people work on from day one, and that's called the back of the hand wait for it, to the back of the hand. And it goes just like this. Now, the reason I'm rolling it forward is multi-folded. Multi-folded, I don't even know if that's a real word. If I was to go backwards, you would lose sight of the object for just a split second. The round would be missed for a split second. Secondly, if I was to go backwards, I would run into my body eventually. And that's going to cause an issue. So what I recommend doing is always rolling forward and just start with this transition. Now remember, bibble, bobble, fibble, fobble, 30 seconds, back of the hand, up and down. The reason I say that is because this is probably the hardest thing that you'll ever learn from me, and that is control on the back of the hand. The reason I say that is because it's just not natural. As I've said before, you don't do a lot of things with the back of your hand. Looking at you again, Mr. Pimp Slap. Other than that, I really can't come up with much that you're going to do with the back of your hand. So if you bibble, bobble, fibble, fobble, 30 seconds to the back of the hand. So this is a back-to-back transfer. And this is a front-to-front transfer. Now, you can do the front-to-front transfer a little bit fancier like this. And again, this creates, I told you to stay out of the shot this week. This creates what I call around the world. Back-to-back, front-to-front. Back-to-back, palm-to-palm. One of the things that's interesting is that when you're doing flips and flops, as I call them, index and pinkies, this creates different types of transfers that you won't get other ways. And when it comes to these type of transfers, I don't have a particular. You can go like that, or you can go like that. See the difference? And they each have their own merits, and they each have their own look, and they each have their own feel. And that's one of the reasons I really love flip-flops and index pinkies, because it's same thing, just two different names, same thing. And the reason I like that is because it gives you a lot of options. Oh man, hand to hand, hands together style in this tiny space is just, ooh, it's like body rolls. I need to work on my body rolls. If you're gonna do body rolls, I recommend getting like a mini basketball or a basketball and then going to a mini basketball or a soccer ball and a mini soccer ball, and you start at the big one, then you go to the smaller one. I have a great Ledger plastic ball from Dubai. I don't have it back here, so I can't show it to you. The Ledger plastic ball from Dubai, I think it's about this big, and so that would be 150 millimeters, 200 millimeters, something like that. It's Italian, so it's metric sizing. It is called a contact ball, and I really like it. It's good. Great for body rolls and matrix style stuff and things like that. We're just about to get into the music, but I want to show you one other thing that's really helpful with music. And it's what I call the dot, the period, or the exclamation point on what you're doing. So, and this is a flourish. That's not a flourish, that's a mistake. A flourish. So what I just did there was I did a mistake. What I did was a spike. And you can do these a lot of different ways. Obviously, you can. I can't. Pedestal stole. It's got a lot of different names again. And I use like every finger. I even try to get my pinky in there just because I like the way it looks. Some people like to do it with 2 fingers. And obviously, being able to do a single finger hold, that's really one of the biggest tricks. And that's the secret from what I've been told by people. I can't do it. Don't learn tricks or different types of things from people that don't actually know how to do it. Find somebody that can do it and see if they'll teach it to you. They're going to give you better tips and tricks than the person that can't. Now, the thing is, I have talked to people that know how to do the single finger hold, and they say the nail is the key. If you have a slightly longer nail, you can actually create like a little divot in your finger and you can hold it right there. I can't. 2 fingers is basically a balance, and you just got to get used to it. I haven't gotten used to it. 3 fingers stall. Again, you just get used to it. And then coming out of it and then going back into it. And again, I haven't done these a lot, so my fault for not doing them ahead of time and getting them prepared for you. Now, this is called a flourish, though, people. So pedestal hold flourish, cup hold flourish, cup hold flourish to cup hold flourish, and there's tons of flourishes. I like to do falling up as a flourish, and why I call it a dot and exclamation point is you use it in the music to create a dramatic pause. Again, this week's sound effects are free. Learn how to use your mouse left-handed and right-handed, and then you don't have to look like me right now because I have all my stuff set up on the left hand and I'm using my right hand. This first piece, first piece of music that we're going to listen to and I'm going to flow with is under the public domain Creative Commons attribution. So I will be throwing onto the screen his name. And the first title is called Hitman. And I'm going to pause it real quick. Face comes to mind. I'm sure that I had a concentration face when I first started, and then in my head I heard my friend saying face, and I immediately knew I had to get out of my head and start entertaining you and not concentrating so much. With this song, it's got a slow beat. I was trying to walk to try to build the music. So what I'll do a lot of the times is I will use the walk as a dramatic thing, slow it down and speed it up based on the tempo. Double time, half time. So if you're doing EDM music, you're not going to double time a 200 beat unless you want your heart to explode. So what you should do is half time it. So if it's 200, you're going to drop your speed down to 100. And again, this is just a feel. It's a flow. You're going to get into a rhythm. So I'm going to hop back to the music. I have showed his name. So not what I was trying to do. Sorry about that, everybody. I have shown his name. So I'm going to take his name off of there and play the music again from the beginning and try to, it's about a 3-minute song. Let's see if I can make it all the way to the end. Normally I'll only go about a minute or two, so we'll see. That's about as far as I'm going to make it. I've only listened to this song probably 3 or 4 times. That is something that you'll learn. If you're going to perform to a song, throw it on heavy rotation in your head. Start to move with the music, literally as you're walking down the street. Think about what you might use for transitions. So when the music transitioned, I was like, man, I wish I had known that was coming. And that's the reason I actually stopped this, was because I wanted to do a quick, like, boom, 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 snap, pop, pop, transition, bam, 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 whoo. Something like that. Sound effects are free again this week, everybody. So that was the first song. And again, I'm going to be using a second song by that same artist. So let's throw his name back up there. This one is entitled Killers. So I'm going to go away for a couple seconds. We're going to listen to this. Again, I've only listened to it a few times, so we'll see how I'm able to improv with it. I, as a flow artist, I'm very improv oriented. I don't like to build routines with paper. I like to build them in my head. I like to feel the music more than coming up with this move to this move to this move. Again, I've told you before, that's why I consider myself a flow artist as opposed to a contact juggler or a sphere player. Or dynamic object manipulator. I mean, I use all of those. I use contact juggling, sphere play, and dynamic object manipulation. And I use flow to guide me through those. So let's hit some music. Let's make this happen. So I'm done with that song. I'm just trying to pause it real quick. Ooh, I like that break. So what I would do with something like that break is So build up, break down. Build up, break down. Now, let me pause this real quick. Actually, I'm going to stop it. One of the things you'll notice is that I'm really choppy today. This space, being able to play in the frame, limits you as a flow artist and kind of cramps me up. So I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm trying to keep inside the frame during this whole time. It's one of the things that you have to keep in mind. If you're performing to a crowd, and this is my crowd right now, you need to be able to interact with them, and you need to keep it in frame to do that. Next song we're going to be using is a song that I created probably in about half hour, 45 minutes inside GarageBand, used all auto settings. Now I have other fancier equipment to create music, and I will be creating more music in the future. I just wanted to show you what's possible in, like, I guess it was like 2.5 hours, all auto. It's not a great song. I don't love it, except if I spent more time, I'd get a song that I would probably totally love. No need to put anybody's name up because it's my music this time. So let's hit this. See what I can do with it. Start with these. So that's the end of the song. It's pretty quick. And like I said, I designed it inside GarageBand real quick. It was all auto. Now, the interesting thing about that is I don't love the beginning, but I like when the piano comes in. And I try to improv with the piano. Again, as a contact juggler, you have to keep a couple things in mind. If you want to, you can play with the beat more like a drummer. You can get into the groove more like a bass player does. Remember to solo though. Like, imagine yourself as a lead guitarist just going crazy. Imagine yourself as a vocalist hitting that really high note. You want to come up with certain things that you do that will, like, put an exclamation point on your performance. So we're going to get to the last song right now. Now this song, literally I think 22 minutes is how long it took to create, again in GarageBand. I don't love the song. The thing is though, it's a loop. So I could put it on for a minute, I could put it on for an hour. Find something that you enjoy musically, and listening to it over and over and over again will make it better and better when it comes to you as a flow artist. So let's hop into this one. I haven't heard this one in a couple seconds, so. Music, everyone. That's been this week's Flow of the Round workshop. Flowshop. I don't like calling them workshops because they're not. I enjoy myself and I flow. I'm a flow artist. Week number 5, Flow of the Round music. Thank you very much for stopping by. As always, I've got a couple of title screens to throw up before we leave. Please stop by the Facebook group. My name, of course, Rich Shumaker. You can find me at richshumaker.com or contactjuggling.com. I want to say again, thank you very much for showing up to this week's Flow of the Round Flow Shop entitled Music. Last but certainly not least, if you have any questions, you can ask them over at the Facebook group, or you can tweet FLOTR. Again, thanks everybody. It's been a great time. I hope you guys have a great week and enjoy yourself. Try to have as much fun doing as much flow stuff as you possibly can. I highly recommend it. Bye everybody. It's good. It does good. It does really fun. Sunglasses. Hey everybody. is my sunglasses phase of the show. That was horrible. I noticed last week that I say certain words a lot. So, now, then. So, I'm trying to get away from that. It's live production, everybody. Enough about music. Bleh.